about was people, they were going to allow people who consented to conversion therapy to undergo conversion therapy. That was in their original plans. I don't know whether that will feature, but I don't know whether you've got any thoughts about that, Doug. If you consent, it's okay, you can have it.
Oh, I got a few thoughts about that. I do not believe that in this realm there is such a thing as consent. I don't think that anybody attempts conversion therapy without having the metaphorical equivalent of a gun to your head, whether that is a loss of your family, of standing in your community, of membership in your community of faith, or if it is simply due to the internalization of years of self-abnegation around sexual orientation or gender identity. There is no such thing as free will, free choice. I mean, if there were, wouldn't we see heterosexuals wanting to change their sexual orientation and become gay? It's fabulous, right?
It is, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and that is why I think even though the disparity, Adam, at the beginning, I was mentioning this disparity in research findings between sexual orientation conversion therapy and that for gender identity, but nonetheless, the research that is there on gender identity conversion therapy is very, very compelling on the kinds of harms. And I hope that that report is front and center in the discussion, whatever discussion the MPs and the Prime Minister are having at this point around maybe they should do yet another U-turn and bring the T back in because it is not supportable otherwise.
Thank you. That's a very good comment. I mean, I was just going to come to it to see whether you had a closing comment for our MPs and for Boris Johnson on this. I mean, that was a great closing comment in a way, but I don't, you may have some further advice about why it's so important to include gender as part of this.
You know, the last time you had a national election, I actually was in London and was invited by a dear friend to be the guest at the home of a former Labour MP in London, and we all were watching the election returns on the television. And I have to say, for me, it was a little PTSD from 2016 in our national election, just thinking, oh my God, you're kidding. The Tories are taking over everything. I say that because I guess what I would say to, if I could address Parliament today, I would say, whatever your affiliation is, and I know you want to keep being elected in your jurisdictions or whatever, but please consider human lives are at stake here. Do not make this a political issue. Please read the research. Please see this for the public health issue and the public health danger that it is. And it is your duty as MPs in the UK government to provide guidance to your people in that regard. No, you shouldn't be making public health policy, but you should be endorsing that which is backed by research. That's my plea to you, and thank you with all respect for taking that from a person from outside your country.
Thank you, Doug. That's really helpful.